because a loss, and they're staring down the barrel and having to go through the quarterfinals once we get to playoffs. It's a pretty significant game. Elevate are off to the right start in the BO1 format. We head to bank for this one.
If this is not game of the stage in the round robins, then what would be? Fury Bleed? Because we've seen that and it wasn't that exciting. Elevate Bleed? I don't know. I feel like this might actually be the game of the stage.
What about Knock Knock Hasib following after this game?
Okay,
James?
no, that's fair. My bad.
Every chance in which that could very well end up being game of the stage. At least, I guess, for the the group stage portion. But no, I agree. I think that we thought yesterday Bleed Fury would be that particular match. To be him, it wasn't him. And even Elevate No Cap really couldn't probably rise to that occasion. We haven't really had that many, like, say, overtime matches yesterday. Direwolves, Hasib. Direwolves should have won that in regulation. Hasib brought it back. Cool game. Probably not game of the stage. It was more lackluster than anything. Go back to Playday 2, though. Fury No Cap, 8-7. Yeah, maybe that one right now is holding the mantle. We'll see whether or not this one could overtake it. Fury taking on Elevate. I think we mentioned it pretty well on the desk. For Fury, this is close to must-win territory if you want to secure a top 2 position. As I put it before, if Elevate win this, get all 3 points, they will only need to then gain 1 point for the remainder of the group stage to make sure Fury can't overtake them.
Wild. Very wild. Now, Fury going through the bans. They're going to get rid of Valk and Ying. Last time these teams played each other, unfortunately, I don't have the ban data, but Fury have really loved getting rid of that Ying. Funnily enough, they banned Kali against No Cap the other day, and I remember we were pretty stumped as to why, but then today we saw Scatman just maining that thing, so I guess Fury knew something that we didn't. As for Elevate, they're going to get rid of the Montaigne. It's been their favorite ban so far this stage as well, and look, probably a good move. Does leave the Blitz in play. I wouldn't be surprised if Fury bring it out at some point, but to be honest, on this map, I just don't think Blitz has as much firepower as that Monty does. So, remains to be seen. Elevate start on defense. I think Fury should be gunning for a 3-3 half here. Elevate probably looking for more like a 4-2.
And for yourself and myself, we've both gone for Fury. I must say, if it wasn't this kind of like do or die extravagant matchup, and let's say Fury didn't start the stage 1-2, I actually might have gone Elevate. But I think I'm playing into... and maybe it's like a sporting mindset, James, but you know, when teams are kind of like on the ropes, you expect them to kind of like bounce back because they almost have to. That's sort of my mindset in this game, is that Fury, if they end up losing this, like, my goodness, their stage looks almost awful. And I know that we had Mentalist on the interview before, and he said, look, it doesn't, not much matters until we get to playoffs, but your seeding does matter. When you don't finish second or third, then you might have to play Bleed before even the grand final, and that can be a difficult prospect. So this ends up being a crucial game, hence why I picked them. But on form, and for what I believe in this Elevate roster, I would be by no means surprised if they end up winning this. We spoke to Speakeasy yesterday, of course, in the winners interview, and he was extremely confident. His birthday in a couple of days. It's all kind of finally maybe coming together for Elevate. He feels like this could be the stage in which they can make a major. They play Bleed later on in the stage. You win this, that Bleed game. Suddenly, Elevate Bleed later on, that could be match of the stage potential. As we get into bank here, a lot riding on just a singular best of one.
Yeah. I think especially for Fury, I think they're the ones who have more pressure now. And they do start on the attack. Dark's taking a huge amount of HP damage up. He finishes him off with the Boss G. Looking for another one. He damages up Critche. But eventually, the trade comes through. Sorely needed. Thankfully, Dark's utility is not essential on this bomb site, but still, that is a pretty big loss.
Yeah, and Critche low now. You're playing, you know, the Bucks, so you're around those floorboards. You know, a stray Nitrocell or something like that. And yeah, eventually Enhykel just gets the kill in open anyway. Pretty standard defense right now from Elevate over towards open and Staff. Castle barricade up, play the hatch drop later around the minute 30 mark. Drop down and eventually then rotate the basement. Good start. I love the pressure immediately around the map. They deny map control for Fury. Not just a case of fire stacking down in basement. Drone does slip through. A little bit of a nuisance from MC there, allowing that bot main.
Yeah. There's no doubt that Elevate has started a far better team the first half of this round, but Fury can redeem themselves. However, lacking a little bit in terms of hard breach. If they want to go for a server plant, I don't think they've got the ingredients to do so. So it looks like they're forming up for a back take at the moment. They do eventually need to clear open area, realistically. I mean, I guess they could go for a really risky play back without going open area, and I think that might be what they're going for, but it's going to be really challenging. These back takes are very risky.
Still one logic bomb for BG Man. Used it early on. Of course, the new change in effect. That's a headshot around the corner. And High Cal. Another one as well from Beepers. That's going to make this round just about impossible now. They're going to have to push and get this kill inside of App and make it a 2 versus 3. He's fighting back vigorously, though, expecting the second to be there. But I9 in Archives. This is the solo push from BG Man.
No.
The round is over.
Yeah. There it is, and High Cal can get back to site safely as well. All up to I9 now. He hasn't even found his first yet. Pretty desperate. He's got drops down elevator and there's fire as well. They know exactly where he is. He might get a nice pre-fire here onto MC. He's got a ping. No, he's gassed out. This round is done. It has been for quite some time. Phenomenal start from Elevate.
Yeah. I mean, that was absolutely crucial for Elevate to start, I think, in that manner. You really want to make sure Fury don't get off to a good start, build that momentum that they have so far throughout the stage been unable to find. And it puts the doubt into the opposition. You know, Bank's the kind of map I think you can do well on attack. Okay, maybe Basement's one that's, you know, locked down typically by defenders. But the top floor, hold and control from Elevate, playing full map control, good early contact, goes their way. They have the numbers. Great control from N-High-Cal over towards open, then into admin. They couldn't clear him. He finds 3 kills. Just felt as if Fury weren't, again, playing as a succinct team, and that was the issue I had with them yesterday. In fact, against Bleed, they didn't look like a roster that was playing together, James. They looked disjointed. It looked like solo players pushing over here and there. And even in this instance, right, the round's not over at 2 versus 4. If I9 rotates over to open, helps out with BG Man, they pinch admin, 2v3, enough time, you still have Kit, the round's a little bit more winnable. But instead, BG Man just plays the solo hero play to try and clear out N-High-Cal. He then dies, Kit then is on the floor, I9 can't do anything, round is actually over. So it's even those little micro adjustments that Fury, over the last couple of days, weeks now even, just don't look like the Fury we are used to seeing.
Yeah. And Elevate know that rounds are won and lost not necessarily in individual moments, but a lot of key moments that are strung together. For example, like Oppe was worth his weight in gold. He got 1 kill and 90-odd damage onto Critche last round, and then N-High-Cal held onto his position. Like, it wasn't any singular play. It's the fact that everyone from Elevate is taking part and helping out. This is potential for a very fast push here from I9. He's already in ATMs. Yeah, I do think that Fury just need to be cautious, because I think Elevate have clearly got a very good read on how to play this. Their roam game is very deadly. Fury need to make sure to start punishing these roamers, and it comes down to timings.
Yeah, this is a good drone from Lycolis. So over towards front desk, and you've got information you can play off. Information's key. We heard that from Mentalist in the interview. No Montang, banned out by Elevate, so that might be a little bit of a nuisance for Fury. We know that they're certainly privy to playing that particular shield operator. You can still bring the Blitz. Certainly still an incredibly powerful shield operator in the current meta, and can be really well executed on this particular map. So Janitor hold, mirror facing towards top square. And High-Cal over towards long dash, so a lot of second floor pressure at the moment from Elevate. Simple peek. We didn't get to see it from Critche's POV, but mirror, janitor closet, you got to be so careful with your positioning here. BG Man not wanting to take the push, and Speak Easy. Well, that was really nicely done from BG Man, and good game sense to understand the player in janitor is going to want to swing top main after losing that player, which was Speak Easy pushing up. 3v3, okay, we've got a game here.
Yeah, BG Man is just farming here on the stairs as well. Should be an easy lockout here for Elevate. MC's so low, his position last seen in Janitor. Shed is able to retreat back towards the site. MC's found BG, so maybe it's possible. 2v2, very winnable, and Elevate have regrouped now. They can fall back to site. The timing for I9 is just off. And with Shed having such a devastating primary in this DMR, this is such a winnable position.
Yeah, like Collins is still outside, so with all the commotion, I mean, I know a lot was happening very quickly, and BG Man getting the kills he did wasn't necessarily off his own doing. You know, it was the push from Speak Easy. He then gets the trade from N-High-Cal in Janitor, expecting that swing. Fury, I don't think, played off that quick enough. They didn't go and get, site control, for example. You still have like Colas out in a repel, I9 in archive. So that actually allows to rotate back to site now for Shed and MC. And while MC is low on health, there's only so little time remaining. Fury has just kind of stalled themselves out.
Oh, does he know? Does Lycolas know? He's got no Selmas left to play with. He needs to win his one on the close player. He's taken out the one further away, but coming and deny the plan. It's Shed, but I9 clutches in the 1v1. A very close round, one that really should not have been as close as it was. Fury are very lucky that I9 was quick enough on his sticks to land that shot.
Yeah, it goes a bit back, though. I want to bring it all the way to BG, man. I'm sure we will get to that in the replay, but it's not easy when you've got a player pushing up main stairs. You get that kill to then flick back to the player peeking from Janitor, and I think rightfully so from NHyCal. His job really at that point is to go for the trade and eliminate that pressure of BG Man, who really unlocked the round for Fury. It was a 3 versus 2 at that moment. He does lose his life to the Nitro Cell. A little bit unfortunate. But really at that point, if you're Fury, if MC, one's on the roam and then he dies to a player from Nitro, you go, hey, no one's on site. And yet they do nothing with that information for a long period of time. It's some great shooting here from BG, man. And look, the beauty of Siege, and yeah, one in long and then one over towards Elevator. And yet, despite that information, they didn't really play off it quick enough. Lycolas has kit, he doesn't check hard right. You kind of begged that question at the end of that round, James. Does he know that he's there? The answer to that was clearly no. Didn't even really give it time of day, probably because there was so little time remaining. But even with that push, they were very fortunate because Lycolas dies there and there's no real trade potential from I9 until we actually saw the peak. So, yeah, look, 1-1, Fury get around, but there's certainly elements from both teams that I think they'll be disappointed in that round. Both teams are going to walk away and be like, they should have won that. Fury did. Elevate, I'm probably wondering how they lost it.
Yeah, to me, the biggest red flag for Fury is the fact that they are often not bringing the right util to deal with these setups the Elevator bringing. Last round, the mirror windows, there was no setup from Fury to actually address those. They got pretty lucky that BG Man was in a position and won his pre-fire against the mirror player. So if we keep seeing mirror picks, which it's not this round, then I want to see Ash. We do see that this round, funnily enough. If we see operators like Mozzie, Mute, Echo, and I want to see things like the IQ, like the Dokkaebi, to try and counter these camera utility. I mean, you can ban out the Valk, but that doesn't nullify operators like Echo that fill a similar role. So I just want to see Fury, if they're not going to bring specific util to counter stuff, they've got to do it another way. And this is a good start. Winning the roam game. Arpe has been such a good roamer in this match, especially on that Vigil in the first round. And he has been taken down early.
Yeah, better from Fury, right? Opening round, Elevate. Their roam game was immaculate. Won all the contact fights. They were able to deny entry positions. Had good map control. Arpe wanting to roam around on the Oryx. Loses his life early. One of the Yokai drones over towards bot square at the moment, probably getting some information, and yeah, shoots that one. So 90 seconds, pretty slow approach from Fury, but with that opening kill, they should be able to kind of branch out, use the numbers that they've got to obtain a lot of this map control, kind of put the pressure on to Elevate. Boogie auto breach in towards airlock, and yeah, just starting to navigate their way up above towards the second floor position.
That's really nice. I didn't actually know you could toss the boogie that far, but from rappel, if you aim high enough, you can actually get it across airlock and then straight into sight. Really nice there. That's going to open up all of the teller's position. Archives hasn't been opened up as of yet. Fury need to be careful not to tunnel vision too much on the vertical game, especially when there are C4s alive. That's a very aggressive position to take for NHyCal, and he loses his life to BG Man. Critchay's now dueling on the vert, and I don't think the C4s are up and available any longer. So Fury, the two-player advantage, are poised to take the round.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised the way in which Elevate have kind of defended this round. A lot of this kind of roam game rather than just looking to actively elect for a second floor hold, for example, as we'll come to the cams. Obviously, we've lost the observers, I think, actually, at that moment. Now, what we can see from Speakeasy in the mirror, James, is no, we lost him there.
Can we actually see in any of the player cameras what's going on in the round? I'm guessing I9's dead. He doesn't look.
If you look in the mirror, so the round is over now. Arpe
in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we can also see.
Yeah, we've got a couple of screens here on Elevate's side. Not much to really go. There you go. Well,
Elevate
won the round.
Yeah,
Elevate have won the round. Wow, that was a 3v5, James.
How did they manage that, man? This is okay. Production getting a bit desperate here, trying to zoom in.
Oh, there's your evil twin.
Yep. You really think Shed looks that much like me?
I think it's more just the hair. It's just the hair.
The blonde.
Like the blonde
Mine's
kind of
not
like...
dyed though. Nothing wrong with dyeing your
No,
hair,
no, but it's like the shape of it, right? Like over the forehead,
Yeah,
like that
right.
kind of like cool age style hair. Yeah, it's disappointing for Fury that they actually lose that round after, I think, a bit of aggression from Elevate where they played that heavy roam game, good square pressure, sure. Denied, lost too early. Fury had, I think, about 60 seconds left when we lost the observers, and they had started to open up the floorboards up above with pressure. To lose that position that they had, 5v3, good time. I'm a little bit perplexed how they've lost that round.
Yeah, I would love to have been able to see that because that is one of the more interesting bomb sites. Teller's Archives, we very rarely see it. It's the least big bomb site in the current meta. Once upon a time, it was the second most. And these days, yeah, it really depends on how the defenders tend to interpret it. What I expect happened with the 3 defenders left, one was still playing, I think it was Shared, or MC. He was the one in Elevator. He was playing Elevator Hallway. He had a castle barricade protecting him from lobby. I'm guessing that didn't get cleared, which allowed him to play his kind of horizontal pressure onto the bomb site. He was probably worried about main stairs, but that's it. Then you had the player, I believe, in open area, and then one player in sight. And it's actually really hard to clear out that player in sight. If you're playing just vertically and you lose the vert, maybe to a C4 or maybe just to a one-on-one contest, that can be really hard. Honestly, I think the castle probably had the biggest impact in that round. Just the fact that there were so many lines of sight protected, like the elevator hallway, the site itself. I know that they did breach into the site, but really Fury just needed to maximize their numbers advantage by getting horizontal and vertical pressure and just looking to 2v1 any player they can. If you try and be very plant-focused on that site, you're not going to have a great time because there are so many opportunities for 1v1s to be forced by the defense, and you can lose the map control quite quickly if you have a player planting. So I don't know if maybe they tried to go for kills, but they spent too much time searching for those players and ended up losing the time, losing the advantage because of that. But yeah, I'm still pretty perplexed because that should not be a round loss for Fury.
I think if you also go back to the round prior, 3-2 advantage for Fury, and again, they stalled themselves out, didn't play the time game very well, so there's probably that element attached to it, and like you said, also with the castle barricades as well, delaying, and then poor time management, and then arguably poor on-site execution is then arguably, I think, the downfall for Fury in that round. While we didn't get to see it, you can probably get a good sense as to maybe what has actually gone wrong for them. So they do lose the third round. 2-1 now in favor of Elevate. Certainly early signs for Fury and Elevate right now, at least from the opening 3 rounds, is that this could very well end up being, I think, a pretty back and forth. You know, both teams will clutch up. Both teams are going to make mistakes as well. I don't think either of these two are impervious to that. I think they actually both, you know, if we did the power rankings at the start of the week, James, I think next week's power rankings, people are going to have a bit more of a gap from Bleed to number 2. And I think that's evident as what we've seen from, you know, Fury being a little bit lackluster, Elevate while being an okay team, and certainly joining the conversation, not quite maybe being at that Bleed level anyway. So, if anything, so far throughout the first couple of playdays for Asia League, I feel like Bleed have actually increased their gap.
Remains to be seen. Of course, we're not into the BO3s yet as well, and wise players have said that it does come down to the playoffs. Like, doesn't really matter how you do. As long as you get top 6, you're into the playoffs. That just means don't be bottom 2. And I don't think Fury, Elevate, or Bleed are in danger of becoming bottom 2, even No Cap. Even Direwolves, honestly, probably not even in danger of being a bottom 2 team in this league at the moment. And then it'll come down to those BO3s. But confidence is key. I think both of these teams need the confidence, but especially Fury right now. After losing to No Cap, after losing to Bleed without getting any points out of the game, this should be a priority for them. And what's more, Jake, that could be a very telling round. The moment we just missed, it's a tertiary site, or a quaternary site? I don't know how you would say that. But what's more, Elevate won it on defense. They won it on time, by the way. And I think Fury really needed to win that. And it could be the moment where this all falls. If we get an interview with Elevate, I might ask them about it at the end of this.
So into the 4th round, and we're back into this as well. Fortunately, getting the observers into the game. Elevate right now They're back to basement off the back of winning the tertiary site. Again, for Fury, rather slow in their approach in terms of clearing. They've got the Nook, the Dockerby, the Jackal. Certainly should be able to command a lot of respect up above in terms of clearing out potential roamers, of which there are none. Outside of MC playing blue stairs, he's the only one even remotely close to first floor, and even he isn't really going to go wandering. He'll hold this position as long as possible, take out any potential drones, keep his gas babes. He's got the Vulcan canister, and it's going to keep this kind of server side position under lock and key. Now the drone, barbed wire, dealt with. First gas babe thrown out. Again for Fury, time management just feels like this stage they've been quite poor at it.
Yeah, I think that's why Elevate have read into playing a really passive hold. However, I mean, if Dark's able to take that out, that could be pretty big. It's another one of the Fenrir FNATs. We've already seen one taken out. Yeah, I mean, MC's in a critical position, but it feels like Fury aren't actually going to hard clear him. They've got garage pressure from Lycolis on the knock here, with an operator that's recently been buffed both in gadget and in weapon. Realistically, he should be winning this against N-High-Cal. He's got the superior weapon, he's got the superior scope.
N-High-Cal doesn't need a peek, James.
No, he doesn't, but he is going to anyway. It's N-High-Cal, after all.
No, he doesn't need a peek. Stay behind the truck. There's under 20 seconds left, mate. If I'm in the voice comms, I'm just saying don't peek. For the love of God, do not peek. Force the Nook, force Lycolis in towards you to play through loading dock. 10 seconds left.
Yeah, this is too separate, though. However, they found the kills. We need a position to plant. I9 is the man to do it. Speakeasy and MC, the last two up, but there are good positions now from the remaining attackers. However, Speakeasy's made this look very, very winnable. A 1v1 now, but I9 gets aggressive. He gets about it. He gets in the face of Elevate. And Fury find another round, a much-needed one of that.
Yeah, and honestly, that round happens because of, again, time management from Fury being quite poor. There's 10 seconds on the clock. We think back to the old days of Siege, the old 20-second meta, where it was util dump, push in, hit site. And while it wasn't quite the same, James, it's still a very similar formula where Fury, slow approach up above. The checklist, again, hasn't quite got good pacing to it. They're not hitting site with 30, 40 seconds under their belt. They're rushed. And in the end, maybe the rushed nature of that attack ended up aiding them because Elevate were a little bit flustered. You know, N-High-Cal as well, kind of stuck behind the truck. He couldn't cross back to site, so he was on a bit of an island. He had to keep peeking, I guess, especially in the last 10 seconds, lost his life. That meant Fury got much better control in terms of the exterior of site coming in late because Lycolis was able to win that 1v1 through garage. That ended up being a little bit pivotal. This was actually the replays from the third round. Yeah, they go now into the fourth round. So even at that point, James, it's a 4v4 with 10 seconds left. If you were to replay that round, you know, 9 times out of 10, I feel like defense, for the most part, should always come up above. If N-High-Cal even just wins his solo, he ends up being probably in a position that can deny plant.
Yeah. I actually think that the strat from Fury must have been... Like, I don't think this was disorganization. I think this was actually part of the plan. I think they intended to be chaotic because they literally had 5 players coming from 5 different directions. You've got Garage, you've got Blue Stairs, you've got the Vault Drop, you've got Elevate Drop. I honestly couldn't tell you where the 5th one was, but nobody played together. And that was actually deliberate, and Fury did nail their timings. So even though Crit J dies to MC on Blue Stairs, doesn't matter. As long as one of those players wins their position, they're going to be good for more than 1 kill. And it happened to be whoever was on knock. I think it was Lycolis. He won his fight against... he won his fight against N-High-Cal, and then he pushed up, he denied MC, and he took garage control. And that was what Fury were relying on. Same case for the elevator player, same case for the vault player. Really weird strategy and really hard to read. I think that the chaotic nature of it is a good read from Fury. I think it's quite hard for Elevate to deal with that setup, but it is so risky and it relies on gunfights, and I guess Fury are lucky that they're so good at them.
Well, I mentioned the shield play for Fury in terms of the potential. That's a...
The Rotero got mirror tricked. I've literally never seen that before.
Yeah, that is...
The mirror activating destroyed it even after it was indestructible.
Yeah, that's insane. I was just talking about the fact that we're going to see the Blitz and the Ossa, and then the Rotero ties to the mirror window. Well, Crit J makes a very easy entry in towards stock as I9 gets janitor control. So maybe the opposite, James. The speediness here in this 5th round brought by Fury, something we haven't seen a whole lot of. Up 5 versus 3. Surely they can't throw this one. And it's going to be an early plant as well, so they picked up the pace.
The only way that you win this is defense is by denying that plant, but there's no C4s, there's no control below. This has been read to a T by Fury. They're abusing these shields. You can ban them onto you, it doesn't matter. But a retake might be on the cards here. Speakeasy has his mirror still active, and he's got a line of sight all the way to top square. Fury need to get back and get as safe as possible. The danger is that Enhaikal is still alive, and he's the Azami. He is the one operator that has util to protect against these windows, but he doesn't have any keepers left. And that might mean it's the end of it. But RP can find something, looking for another one as well. Up to BG Man and Lycolis, but the nades are good for this, and time is ticking away. They have to get around it, they have to jump out. It's all up to RP, and there is no time left. A really valiant effort from Elevate on the retake, but Fury are simply too good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you kind of mentioned the keeper barriers there, because I thought like that as well. First instinct was there's a potential in which Elevate could maybe bring this round back if you can get, you know, a couple of keeper barriers to block those windows, get on it straight away, don't get off it. Maybe then someone else jumps out. So if someone jumps out, you play the keeper barriers, there's a chance for what is typically a site where that diffuser goes down, no chance usually, but yeah, that timing, my goodness, that is hilarious. You could
literally, like, that is never gonna happen in Siege ever
I
again.
don't know if I'll ever see that again. Yeah, and probably for good reason. But you know what was great about it, those Fury immediately off the back of it just hit the go button, and they were able to pick up the pace. Now I'm sitting here for the last couple of rounds saying, James, they're just so slow to get through and do what they need to do. To be fair, top floor bank, you know, if you're gonna bring something like a blitz, it's so easy to just navigate out from terrace into a hallway janitor and clear out that position with the blitz. What can you realistically do? Sure, some teams will have, like, say, stock hallway shield facing there to maybe try and deny that, but guess what? You already had free entry because Crit J made his way into stock, so you got stock control, then you get janitor control. From that point, it's very easy to then try and hit the site. Elevate just kind of got bullied in that round. That was actually maybe the most dominant round we have seen from Fury thus far in the opening half.
I'd absolutely agree. Funnily enough, up until that round, the only attacks Fury had won were clutches, were 1v1s, both times from I9, funnily enough. And this time around, Fury gave us a really convincing round. And it does put this game into perspective a bit, right, Jake? Because remember that round on Teller's Archives that Elevate won? That was a 3 versus 5. Like, that's one that you shouldn't be winning.
Yep.
The only convincing round we've had from Elevate so far was the very first round with that Roam game.
Yep, and that was good. But you're right, it's the only one. So, yeah, Bank can certainly, though. I always look at Bank as almost to the point of neutral. I think it's like 3-3, even if it's a 4-2, you can go 4-2. So that's why Bank's probably one of my favorite maps. I think it's a very kind of free-flowing map. Yes, certainly elements that play out pretty similar a lot of the times, and basement can be a bit claustrophobic, but anything kind of above basement, I think, is always pretty fun to watch. You can usually win as defense, or you can usually win as attack. It's also got a lot of these little win cons when you look at like CEO exec. If the diffuser does go down, well, then attack ends up being very likely to win. But if it doesn't go down, then, well, defense is very likely to win. So there's these little elements of mini games that get one out. Basement, though, lockers and CCTV, this ends up being better for the defense usually. As we saw last time out, Fury with a 10-second site execution. As you mentioned, 5 different angles of attack. Elevate need to play the roam game, I think, if they want to try and deny the ability to accomplish that. Why does it kind of stop that from happening? Well, if you're allowing them to get 5 different entry methods, it means you haven't got map control. So play the roam game, get that map control, deny open area positions, deny up above, clear out. The Jackal, of course, there to counter it. You got the Dockerby as well. But once again, for Elevate, they will just play 5 in sight.
Well, they are teetering around this roam a little bit, but they're playing fall off for main stairs, which it looks like they are going to commit to now. Definitely the right call. Don't want to roam against the Jackal and the Dokkaebi. Even the Zero and the Buck can be great anti-roam. The Zero for cutting off flanks, and the Buck for tearing up the floor from CEO. And you can kill anybody in Archives and Tellers, which is one of the few viable roaming places. This is another one. If you count this as a roam, this is more of a hard stuck position. MC, the smoke in blue stairs, very hard position to flush out. We've also got a Warden on the board as well, which is another operator that's very hard to take out. I think that Fury need to make a bit of a quicker decision about where they're going to push, or they can just do the push everywhere thing again, which I hate, but I'm not a gambling man, and that is very much a gambling strategy.
They got more time this time. No, 60 seconds. Finally got all of the hatches opened up. So it's all about decision making. You said it. Somewhat. If you want to go for that 5 split attack, go for it.
Ooh, this is Very aggressive from the Azami. Shed's lucky to get away with his life there. Now, it looks like they are going to try and clear this player. But the smokes are going to make this much more difficult. MC unfortunately misplaces that smoke. It's not going to be quite as aggressive. It will deny an entry. The flash might actually work out. Beautiful from I9 elsewhere. Who's actually dropped into sight. This is beautiful. This is perfect. Exactly what Fury need. The element of surprise. And now I9's in a bit of an awkward position as MC's trying to make his way back into sight, but he doesn't know where I9's got to. He does win his fight though, and that could be pivotal.
Yeah, I think I9's panicked there because of the pressure from Red behind him. He's thinking that with that wall opened up, if he stands up, he's going to die. MC was actually really, really good in this round because he didn't just rush into sight. No time really for BG, man, with 2 seconds on the clock. As soon as he drops, there's players, there's pressure. But as good as that push into sight was for I9, it is such a difficult position to stay in, James, that I actually think the best course of action would have pushed server, kill MC, and then play essentially a default server hit where you then have someone watching the admin hatch. Instead, he ends up just kind of sitting in sight, goes prone because of Red behind him opened up, and he's like, well, I can't stand. If I stand, someone's going to eventually look at me. MC obviously knows there's a player inside of CCTV, so he doesn't just rush in there, even though there's pressure blue stairs. And ultimately what ends up happening is I9's not sure where the pressure is going to come from because MC's not pushing straight away. They can't clear him straight away, and eventually by the time he does push in, I9 doesn't even look ready for it. It's a bit of a calamity despite, I think, what ends up being a really good opening kill. Here it is here. Like, it's a hipfire spray where he's not even locked in. He's prone because he's scared of behind him. There's good and there's bad elements to that round from Fury. But in the end, well played from MC. I think he actually was really cool, calm, and collected in that position.
MC was definitely probably, like, if you had to point to one reason why Elevate won the round, it was MC. And if I had to point to one reason why Fury didn't kill him, it's quite simple. Why was that server hatch close? Why did they not open server hatch? Like, there was no Kaid on the board. You've got Hibana, you've got secondary tin can openers on the Buck, I believe it was. Why is that hatch staying closed? That's a huge red flag. It would have been so easy to actually push in and kill MC. The Dokkaebi had literally just flashed MC, which was why MC ran away from the blue stairs. This should have been a free kill. Speaking of free kills, BG Man takes down in Highcal very early. I mean, Highcal just getting way too aggressive. He thought he had a gap, he didn't. But yeah, I'm just going to cap it off and say, Fury, I don't know why that server hatch wasn't open, but there was also no one on the red hatch. Someone on either of those hatches, and MC is a dead man.
Well, as soon as I9 pushes into sight, James, they need to rush blue. Like, as soon as he's in the site, that's your calls for alarm to get going. Either way, we move into the second half. 3-3 is probably the best way we could summarize that first half. Neither of the two teams able to separate. First logic bomb goes out, and Shed will get a freebie. He's going to get 2, in fact. Oh my goodness.
What is that from Fury, man?
What are they doing? They're just standing out in the hallway on their phones. Like,
lack of awareness.
What do you think? They're like, it's just a logic bomb, but everyone's on the exterior. People are pushing into the map. We saw the early player Dirt die and Highcal. If anything, should be alarm bells. So it's like, hey, they want to kind of go fast. They're not they're not messing around. That logic bomb is basically ringing around the map, saying, okay, they're hunting us down, and you're just standing out in the hallway like that. That's crazy.
I don't know why they thought there would be no one in open area, but they seem to think so. Now, open area has been retaken, and Lycolis has gotten aggressive for RP as well. 2v2, so bloody winnable for Fury.
Good retake. Good retake up above. And maybe in that moment, Elevate also thinking themselves that, Fury would just, well, what was remaining of Fury were going to kind of just sit sight. So Speakeasy and MC. MC towards admin, going to open up the hatch. Speakeasy does have a drone that he can throw out. There's still 60 seconds, right? This is where teams need to kind of just slow down, talk it over to 2v2, play it as such, but also play it as normal as you can. Open up the wall. Vulcan canister gets popped, so it delays a bit of time. So far, I think both sets of duos are actually playing this as well as you can for the situation they find themselves in.
There are a lot of Bs left, and Speakeasy is going to use his last tin can opener, open up the red hallway hatch. That does really change the positions available for Lycolis. Critchay's in a power position now, going for the drop. Lycolis wins the critical fight. And the second, what a round from Lycolis with the Vector. Is looking locked in. Fury are back into it. But still, this game is neck and neck.
No, it is. It is. I said it before that, it's not much separating these two teams, which honestly I think is a good thing for Elevate. James, we mentioned in the pre-show for this game last time out 7-0 kind of territory in the regular portion. We know it was of course a lot closer when it came to the playoffs, but you know, I think there's not a lot separating these teams, and that's probably where, if you go back to stage 1 and then you even go back to kind of like stage 2 last year, that's where Elevate really were trying to get to, be in contention. They beat Bleed stage 1, you know, they're now kind of neck and neck with Fury. They're in that conversation to try and turn Asia League from a top 2 to a top 3, but yeah, BG Man and I9, they would love to have their time again, but credit to like Hollis and Crit J. No surprise, really, with those two still alive. Good decisions made. The way they're able to kind of retake up above, you know, get some pressure into Elevate, that kind of counterpunch that I love to see. Then fall back, play site, key areas being held. They couldn't push bot main. That was being watched. They essentially said, we'll give you the hatch. Drop down. We dare you. They did. Easy kills from like Hollis. He's now 8-5, leading the way. So 4-3, defense bank for Fury. I think they're starting to just find they're in the driver's seat of this game. If they can continue to just make good decisions, Elevate might just start to succumb here unless they can, you know, keep this ball rolling in terms of the back and forth. Again, not much separating these two teams, and it does kind of show to me early on when we see this Amaru, we've got the Blitz, the Grim, what we saw in the last round as well with the dirt push, etc. Elevate's pacing here is a lot quicker than what we saw from Fury on the attack.
With the exception of that one rush we did see. But you are right. I mean, Elevator looking for lurks, and I don't blame him. With Shed getting that easy 2k on his lurk last round, which could be cool, I think that they've realized Fury sometimes can be a little bit asleep, a little bit unaware of potential map control that has been taken. So Fury actually playing a lot more collected as a result. They don't want to let that same thing happen again. The thing that always amazes me about Fury is their mid-round decisions seem so often to be good. Like, they're so good at bringing themselves back from deficits, like we saw last round. Whereas Elevate, much more of a team that really prides themselves on their macro, on their strats coming into the game, their prep. Which we see with a lot of the setups they had on their defense. Look at this from I9. Very cheeky. He doesn't get punished for it too.
Oh, annoying bees. Just stops like Hollis from maybe wanting to push a little bit out of long desk. Good entries. There's the Amaru up in towards Stock. Oh, well, the fast hit from Elevate coordinated across the map has been successful. Everyone all at once in sync as they hit key areas. Somewhat similar to when we saw the 5 hit as well from Fury in the opening half. That was kind of similar from Elevate. Really well worked round. That looked like they'd been practicing that in the scrims. Fury just get completely overwhelmed in the span of about 10 to 15 seconds. The round is over. Well, one round from Elevate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about that round. It was just... It was funny because Elevate did kind of quickly lurk into the building with that Amaru. And when you see an Amaru on the board, you know that there's some kind of set piece coming for the most part. People don't just pick Amaru for the hell of it. And then the Blitz. I didn't actually see where the Blitz entered. Maybe we'll... Nah, unfortunately, we just didn't get eyes on it. I assume... Yeah, it looks like it was Janitor. So that Janitor pressure was really what helped unlock that round for Elevate. On top of the fact that the Amaru just timed it really well, killed the player loitering outside of stock. A nice little set piece from Elevate. Fury not seemingly ready for it. I wish I could analyze it a bit deeper, but unfortunately I just didn't see exactly how that panned out. The kill feed just became real orange real quick.
Yeah.
But the game, neck and neck. Like, I'm actually so glad. I was really not expecting a 7-0 like last stage. I think that was a one and done situation between these teams. I think Fury had a real fire beneath them, and Elevate were in a very different place back then. Very different story now. This is essentially the battle for second place. Everybody expects Bleed to end up at the very top of the standings in the regular season, and whoever wins this match is likely to be joining them with that bye.
Yeah, potentially. Don't forget, of course, it's round differential that does separate when it comes to tiebreakers as well, James, over head-to-head. So in terms of, you know, typically being a case of like, oh, well, they've beaten them, so they got the head-to-head. Round differential does matter a lot more. And considering this game is quite close, you know, that beatdown not going to be there. Does keep, you know, Elevate in a really good position, who've already won 3 games. So even if Fury do win this, it's not as if they're going to be a guaranteed second, but puts them in a much better position. And as we've already evidently spoken about, if they do lose this game, though, Fury, second place is essentially just done. They will not be able to get it. Elevate only need to pick up 1 more point, and they actually play Hasib Warriors next week. You would imagine that should be at least 1 point. Either way, into the 9th round, all tied up. Both teams certainly have proven throughout this game they're capable. No one has been able to kind of snowball any sort of momentum. Open a kill for MC onto BG, man. Now it's up to Fury. Down a player on the defense to be able to retaliate. Find that counter aggression, find that counter punch. But right now, just wanting to sit still. Dark lurking up above. Outside that janitor hallway. Good position for Speakeasy. The timing, though. The Ferns have blocked his vision. Makes his way into janitor. Fights happening elsewhere. This is turning into a scrappy round. Oh, good headshot from Crit J. Brings it back. 3v3.
I'm sure if it was deliberate, but Crit J had the perfect weapon for that position because he could continue to open up the wall as he took that fight. The benefit of the slug shotgun, Shed really didn't have a chance. He thought he could just sit safely behind the soft wall, but not to be. This has been a very split push from Elevate. Clearly, Shed saw an opportunity on site, and Highcal must have done the same, and they looked to make that play together, and it failed to capitalize. Now Fury have redeemed this round, but it's not over yet. I mean, Elevate have such strong map control, and the numbers are even. Still plenty of players up on both sides.
This is
good rotation from Crit J.
Yeah, it offers them a little bit off site. You already had 3 players kind of stuck site, means no map control, means no real flank potential either. Suddenly now with Crit J being off site, once Elevate starts to actually hit the site, they will be able to at least have someone that can push in behind. No diffuser at the moment, but there's enough time. They can go and acquire it later in the run. Once they drop and get these kills, that's what I imagine is going to be the game plan right now for Elevate. Drop, kill, grab kit. Ape actually gets the flanking Crit J as well. I don't know why Ape's in that position. I think Crit J is probably wondering the same thing, but he was over towards Elevators. Despite the fact there's like 20 seconds left in the round, the peek doesn't work either from I9. They never had kit either. They're just throwing their lives away here. Frag Grenade pushes forward. MC with a pistol. That was a calamity of an ending from Fury.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, they had so much in that round for Fury. I want to emphasize that diffuser being down in that position in Printer actually is really significant. Because ideally, what Elevate want to go for is they want to drop the hatch from stock, and they just want to plant directly under that hatch, because you're safe from the desks. You have one player dropping and taking fights, you have the other player planting. That's a very common strategy, and very common as well to have someone creep in from where, I believe it was Highcal on the Nook ended up creeping in from, with the elevator hallway. Like, that is, I think, how most teams would say, yeah, the default way to execute in this 3 versus 3. And you can't do that because the diffuser got dropped by Shed just there. I9, look, man, never take a fight with the bailiff, bro. Like, I don't care how much faith you have in that thing. It will not treat you well. And so that meant that he lost his aggressive position. Unfortunate for Crit J, I don't know how he lost his fight against the lurking Nook, but yeah, that also really
I think he just got timed. I think
he must have. I mean,
there's like 18 seconds left, James, and you're pushing up, you know, main stairs. No, he didn't, because they hadn't hit site yet. But I think his assumption was that they'd gotten stock control. They're about to play the drop. I'm going to get into a position, say, beepers, looking for said drop. I think that's a right call in terms of like, oh, well, I'm in terms of positioning, watching the drop. But this is the timing of it. There still was that Nook looking to push beepers.
Yeah. It is very common to have people lurking from beepers last minute. So I think Crit J was probably at least cautious of it. I doubt he got caught with his gun down. He probably just lost a 50-50 fight. And at the end of the day, some of these rounds just come down to teams winning 50-50 fights. We saw that on Fury's attacks, and it seems to be the case here for Elevate on some of their attacks as well. Now, Fury need to be careful. Single more round lost, and match point is against them. They'll be losing points on the board, and Dark's already gone down early.
Someone shot an Highcal as well. So someone shot at him. So how is Dark just so lackadaisical pushing down the hallway like that? Gotta remember as well, this is basement and you're roaming up above. You need to be the one in control. You need to understand where these attackers are. And then Highcal getting shot at, and you're still just kind of not seeming to be ready for that contact is bizarre to me. A second found up above now. I mean, this is all too easy for Elevate. Fury on the roam game have just been torn to shreds. Crit J wanting to peek blue stairs because you're at that point now, James, where you've lost 2 players. Yeah, okay, maybe helping out line 9 to just get back down. But now this is usually where players kind of look at it and go like, okay, I need to do something, because if we just sit still, we're going to get overwhelmed.
This round is lost if Fury don't make a play, but Elevator's smart enough to be, and they have enough time, that they know they can just sit there and look to make a play. So yeah, it looks like BG Man got aggressive on the rear stairs and he died for it. Now, and Hycal actually suffers the same fate. So a good move from Lycolis, he just wins his one. And sadly, as much as this sounds like lazy analysis, a lot of this round will be determined if Fury are able to win it based on good 1v1s. They need to win their 50-50s in this situation.
If they kill them all, James, they're going to win the round.
It's true.
It's true. No, I think that was actually poor from Enhykel, though. At that point, you probably don't need a solo push bot main, and credit to Lycolis, locks down a key position, not allowing them to just get in towards side for free. 40 seconds, default server side push now from Elevate. They're still up a player. They're still going to be able to play the hatch. Most importantly, James, as well, because they're only down to 3 players of Fury, less potential to get someone to, say, push up main and look for a flank from behind.
Well, the Vulcan canisters have been destroyed now. There's no time burn util on the defensive side. And I don't know if Lycolis has a C4, but he is in no position to use it. In fact, there's a defender all the way back in Elevator who's now having to get aggressive. I9 may be caught out. Speakeasy planting through the fire. Shed does cover onto Critchet. That's the main play that needs to be denying this. Here comes a C4. It'll find 1 kill, but it's not going to be enough. Now a 1v3 is called upon, but Elevate collapse. Calamity for Fury and match point for Elevate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of that comes to the early portion of the round, James. You can kind of dissect the end of it, but at the end of the day, you're in that position because of the early portion of that round. The way that you're losing these players, top floor roaming, where you just seemingly have little to no information, the communication clearly not there, because Dark just looked like he saw a ghost as he's getting pushed at when someone else was shooting at Enhykel. Enhykel then gets 2 kills up above, job done. He does throw his life away, which mitigates it a little bit, right? So instead of a 3v5 site execute, it's a 3v4, but they still have the numbers. And they just couldn't really do anything. But like look at that from Dark. Like, Enhykel just got tagged. And he just doesn't look ready for it, doesn't look aware. It's disappointing. And by the way, the Nitrocell was there available, so you got to try and get yourself in a better position to utilize that. You are the win con at that final hurdle, that if you deny the plant, there's every chance maybe time even elapses, for example, if no one's in a close enough position. And he's just too far back. He couldn't even get it over the soft wall.
Yeah. I mean, there was a positioning error at the end of the round where Lycolis, as you said, the only player with the C4 on the mirror, he was in garage instead of in red, where you really need to switch positions with, I believe it was I don't remember who it was, the other operator that was in red. You just need to switch. Unfortunately, it can be very hard to do, and it might not have been possible, but that just needed to be fixed. The start of the round was really where it was lost, though. It's funny because we see a one-to-one comparison with how Elevate did those basement roams with upstairs and a fall-off able hard hold of open area, which is, by the way, default, and we don't see that from Fury at all. At all. We don't see these open area holds with the hatch open to drop and fall off. That's meta. That's what everyone in the world is doing right now. Elevate do it. Fury don't. It's really strange, and
no.
I'm okay with bucking the trend and doing something off meta if it works, but solo roaming Mozzie on the top floor, like, come on, this is not 2019 anymore. And if you're going to solo roam, pick a better operator. Like, you're not using that C4 for anything useful on the top floor. Use the boss G. Like, I'd rather see you on Vigil than
that
on
can't
Mozzie.
be a formulated plan, James, for me. That can't be like something that you look at and you go into the round and you're sitting there as a team saying, let's do this, let's do X, Y, Z.
I think he was just like, okay, you go roam. What operator you want? He's like, yeah, I'm going to pick Mozzie because I like the gun and I can protect myself a little bit from drones. But realistically, the Mozzie pests aren't doing shit against drones on a map as big as this, with doorways
and not when
as
you're
big
getting
as
roam
this.
cleared by the whole team.
And there's a Deimos. Like, I'd rather see the Vigil, and at least if you hit someone and they don't die, then you've done like 90 damage.
So, 2 pivotal rounds now for Fury. I've been saying it. I would imagine you're in agreement. You lose one of these 2 rounds, that's top 2 done. It's going to be mathematically, well, not impossible, but very unlikely, with Elevate playing Hasib next week. Again, only needing 1 point from that game to secure themselves a position above Fury. which goes without saying is likely top 2, isn't it, with Bleed? So for Fury, it would be... Well, I mean, we'd probably have to go back a while. When was the last time they didn't finish top 2 in Asia League? One hype launcher early on here on the other side of Airlock, and Ape gets the opening kill onto I9. This has been another dismal performance for Fury, and in some ways I feel a little bit disappointed in myself, James, for not backing in Elevate after yesterday's performance. We spoke to Speakeasy. He was confident. It's his birthday week. I felt like today was a do or die for Fury. Well, it looks like it's not going to be do, it's going to be die.
Still time to redeem themselves. Elevate looks so organized. It was a gamble from Fury to even come to bank. The last map that Elevate beat them on, but they did it anyway. Upace found another one, but Lycolis has had a stellar performance today, especially when this Vector has been in his hands. Aggressive now for Dark, but Speakeasy will finish Lycolis off. What a shot there from BG. He's at a quiet stage after a phenomenal stage 1. He needs to back it up in the 2v3.
Yeah, and right now for Elevate, you don't have to probably play the conventional way. You've got the numbers, so you can get off the rappel, try and go in on a normal route. I don't know exactly where Ape's died there, maybe top square, but nice little move there from BG, man. Instead of just holding, he's on the move. MC by himself towards Terra, so they're split. And Haikal, MC are both split right now, although so is Dark and BG. Stock front desk. So right now, it's 25 seconds. It's going to be a bunch of 1v1s, unless you can play together. And Haikal still on the exterior. I think maybe he's grabbing kit. He's got to get the kit. Yep. So that's the biggest thing. So he's just going to go straight in. There's no time to just sit on this. Get your bees out and rappel in.
Yeah, this is all on MC, and he's not got a great gun to try and cover.
Where's Dark?
When he's got 2 opponents. He's walking straight through barbed wire. It's all on Dark and BG to try and deny this plant.
No
but
way.
MC can cover 1. Is the plant deniable here? No! What? Fury! How do you lose that? Elevate of Thieves around!
I mean, absolutely well done to Elevate. They're here. They have, and look at Enhaikal. He's like, what are they doing? What are they doing? They have overtaken Fury. I'm saying it now. They are now the second best team in the region. I'm happy for that to be clipped, shipped, and reposted later on. This right here is the number 2 team on my power rankings going into next week, because Fury look absolutely abysmal this stage. They are making mistake after mistake. The EPS scores are all below 000. Elevate, just the better team in this matchup and deserve the win. Rob, we'll get you back in. You've got no head to pull out, so I'll have to pull mine out instead. But that was just a calamity of a finish.
Yeah, that's really disappointing for Fury. I mean, like, first half looked neck and neck. It looked really close. That genuinely, I didn't know where this game was going. The second we hit second half, maybe round 8, it just fell apart entirely. The whole thing collapsed. Like, even a very simple fact of the matter is, for the last 4 rounds straight, the opening kill went to Elevate unanswered. They just looked dominant. They found openings, they found picks, and there were probably 2 or 3 rounds in there where Fury could have won it, Dev, but it just felt disjointed. It almost feels upsetting at this point.
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to take anything away from Elevate. They played great today. And
Absolutely.
They're probably looking like the best Elevate we've ever seen. But this is far from the best Fury we've ever seen. Far from it. They're not playing terribly. They're just making a lot of unforced errors. And they don't have conviction. They don't have confidence. So clearly, it's not that Fury is a bad team or they don't know what they're doing. There has been some serious confidence issues with this team. You can see it in the way that they played that 2v2 at the end. Yeah. They should have had a better read on what was going on. They should have known where that Kali was. They 100% knew where that Kali was. You can hear that. You could have heard that Kali shooting top square from Clubhouse. You're on a different map, you still know where that Kali is. They know it's a 2 versus 1 then. They need to know, okay, it's 0-0 more or less. Where are they planting? They should be focusing on that planter. And the fact that we didn't see Dark make a move on that planter until he'd already planted into the red for about 7 seconds, there is seriously some like massive communication, confidence, and mental issues going on in the Fury camp right now. And as much as this is a fantastic win for Elevate and they're looking great, that's a huge red flag for Fury.
And they've only got 3 play days to fix that as well before they hit playoffs. So the time is incredibly crunched. But it is time to welcome in Speak Easy once again.
Hello.
That's got to be all smiles. One thing I want to say to kickstart this, right? Like, obviously you guys are looking good. You're looking confident right now. But that last round, I think I saw everyone yelling and screaming. Like, what are the comms like at the last second of those rounds?
It was more like woo wee. Like we managed to not throw the last round, so
Wow.
it's more of not like we're happy that we don't throw rather than we're happy that we're winning. We just don't want to throw any more rounds.
It's brutal honesty from you, Speakeasy. Look, today it didn't feel as though Enhaikal and yourself were needed as much. It felt like the whole team had kind of stood up. It feels like right now this might be one of the best iterations we've ever seen of any Elevate roster. Is it feeling as together as what, say, us three on the desk are looking like?
Wait, can you say that again?
Sorry, I said, no, that's okay. Does it feel as good? Because on the outside, it looks like this roster is firing on all cylinders. It looks like things are coming together quite nicely. Is that the sentiment on the roster right now?
I think there is still some work to be improved, some work to be made. Of course, I think nothing's perfect yet. Hopefully, we can come close to it at least. But yeah, I think MC is very jealous that Heikel popped off yesterday, so he wants to pop off today. So yeah, everyone's got a show,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about not one of the games you've already played, but a game that you're yet to play. In Stage 1, you were the only team to beat Bleed. Now you've taken down Fury, who 7-0'd you last time around. How do you feel going into taking on the best team in this region?
I think if you do what we do in scrims again, like I said before in Stage 1, if you do what we do in scrims, it will show in game day. And I think going to Bleed any map that they want to bring us is I would say 50-50, I guess.
Do Lair, you wouldn't do that.
Even Nighthaven Labs, bro. No one wants to touch Bleed on Nighthaven Labs. They've beaten 3 international teams on it. If you go and you play Bleed on Nighthaven Labs and then beat them, then I'll believe you.
What do I get for that?
If you ban Labs, then I can't believe you.
You probably get a major at that point.
Okay. Well, we'll just see on the next 2 playdays.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Speakeasy. Yesterday, I was the only one on the desk that predicted you guys to win.
Okay.
Today I didn't predict, and I want to apologize personally. I felt like coming into this game for Fury was must win because the gap now is huge between you and them, which now means there's a bit of pressure, I think, going into the remainder of the stage from here until the end of playoffs on your roster, in the sense that you've beaten Fury. It is looking likely. I know that you probably don't look at the standings and stuff, but it's looking likely top 2 finish, which is great. I think that's going to be one of the highest finish we've seen from your roster for Elevate. And now there is that pressure. There is going to be teams, or there's going to be outside noise. What do you guys do as a team now, rather than being kind of the underdog that's looking to get into the top 2, now looking to keep your place in the top 2, fight for that spot at the major? Do you look at that added pressure as like added belief that you can go all the way? Or do you guys, kind of talk about the way that you're going to manage that sort of pressure moving forward?
I think right now our mentality is that it doesn't matter where we finish. We could even finish in 6 and we still can make a run for the playoff, It's just how prep are we for the best of 3s in playoff. I think that's what matters most. I mean, even if you lose to Bleed, you can always rematch them on the finals. So yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, God. I would love to see an Elevate Bleed Grand Final. That's all I got to say. So you're going to make it happen. But I'm just going to leave you on one note. Bleed have called out every team in the region they want to play Lair. So all I'm saying is speak easy. I'm not putting words in your mouth. Surely you go to Bleed. Are you guys prepared for it?
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, playing Lair in the rank is very, very traumatizing and very boring. So we'll see.
Oh, we love that.
Very quickly, what are you doing for your birthday? Speak easy, 4 days time.
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
I think we're going for a buffet, guys, on my birthday, yeah?
Buffet?
Yeah, I think the rest of it, yeah.
Top 2, birthday. It's going to be a great week.
Doesn't get much better, does it? It doesn't get much better. Speakers, anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
I think one of you owe me a birthday wish or like a song, right? Who
Yeah, I
said
think
didn't?
Dev's the performer. Dev, you got something for us?
Well, what am I wish you the best. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Well, that
birthday
was-
and best
and
of luck for
also-
the rest of the stage.
Everyone in Singapore and all the fans around the world. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Beautiful,
What a
man.
sweetheart.
Dev, I was really hoping you'd break into song there, mate. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
wasn't going to do that because I know you would give me shit for it for the next 5 years.
As if you wouldn't, though. You're the kind of guy that would break out into song for Speakeasy, surely.
I was playing my guitar during my game off before as well, and I was a bit worried that production would like unmute me or something. So I muted myself on vMix as well. But look, maybe one day.
Maybe. I mean, look, when we look back at these scores at the moment, I think it's very clear that in the server it was still tightly contested from Fury, but it just like at the end of the day, it's not enough for them right now. It's not enough to see them faltering day after day in these matches. It's something that they're really going to have to address moving forward. And Hykel, I don't believe had the 145 EPS. I actually believe that might have been MC if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, I think Elevate really do come out the better team in this, Dev, and they look red hot going into the rest of their stage.
Yeah. According to the stats I've got, MC had 164 EPS. He went 16-5,
Jesus.
2-0 on entry as well. So yeah,
Yep.
It was really MC's game today,
Yep.
which is nice because he's not usually a player that we highlight. Usually it's N-High-Cal or Ape. They're the two frontline players of this roster. So yeah, really nice to see MC get the spotlight for once. Even though our graphics team apparently doesn't seem to think he deserves it. They're all N-High-Cal fans.
Poor bloke. They're just going on recency bias. Xenox, I believe, is that you done?
Yeah, for today, just two.
So
today.
you're
Only
only
two-
doing 2 games today.
Only two
Yeah.
games. What?
So
How did that happen?
I kind of wanted to just close a little bit here. So Fury are done now for top 2. I just don't think it's actually going to be possible for them. So I was kind of have a little bit of a look at the playoffs in terms of where they maybe either want to finish. So let's just hypothetically say Bleed are going to finish first. I think that's an easy one. 4th, 5th would not be great because then they'd be on Bleed side of the bracket. So even if it's not second, Rob, still 3rd is not so bad. They can't though fall to 4th. Otherwise, you'd be playing Bleed in the semi-final rather than the grand final, which is not what you want if you're Fury. No Cap's playing well. No Cap still play Bleed. Elevate still play Bleed. So there's certainly still a chance in which Fury can get back to like a 3rd, for example. But you drop to 4th or 5th, and it's going to be a tough ask to get to the major.
Dev, yeah, Tuscan.
Can I-
What's going on?
I can't play devil's advocate there. It's like it's single elim and only one team goes to the major. Doesn't matter when you play Bleed. If it's in quarterfinals, if it's in semifinals, you still got to beat Bleed at some point, right? Get out of the way early. Let's play them in quarters or
Mate,
semis, I guess.
You're assuming that Knock Knock don't make it in and beat Bleed, and then
Honestly?
they're meeting Beaten.
I'm putting my life savings on Hasid Warriors to the major.
Yeah, I could. You know what? I'm
All
I'm seeing
$10.
Hasid through. Yeah. And on that note, we've got a Sim Warriors and Knock Knock coming up after the break. We'll see you then.